Good afternoon and welcome to our latest episode of Talking. Today we have, probably one of the guests I've most looked forward to having on, because I do actually find him extremely likeable as well as entertaining. Most of you are going to know him for one reason or another, shall we say. But after almost a decade in recruitment, our next guest founded SafeRec and Payslip Buddy. And basically, he's my second favourite Frenchman of all time, just behind Fred Sirieix. So please welcome on board Sebastian Sorkas. Seb, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. I actually don't know Fred Sirieix either. So, this is how bad it is.
You know? Oh, come on, Seb. Of course you know Fred.
I have no idea who that is.
He knows I don't mean it as well. It's just my way of putting a little bit of humour into the afternoon and putting everybody at ease. So are you good?
You're my second as well, Seb. No one beats Zinedine Zidane for me.
Do you know what? This is what I think. I thought that Stuart was about to say, actually. So when you said Fred Sirieix, I was like, oh.
Well, I can't mention any French rugby players at the moment, can I, Seb? Because I will be mentioning that a little bit later on in the talk. But yeah, definitely can't give any kudos at the moment there, the way you're running away with everything. But anyhow, thanks for joining us, Seb. First question for me: how did you get from recruitment into SafeRec?
Following the Criminal Finance Act, when I was in recruitment, I was working in a recruitment agency on the social care sector, and it was a little bit complicated to manage because in healthcare and social care you have just a lot of non-compliance and sometimes, even often, driven by the actual workers that want to work with umbrella companies that offer better take-home pay. And the problem when you are a recruitment agency and you want to be compliant is that you face with workers that you source, you pay for the DBS, you look for 5 years references, you send them for interview, you prep them for the interview, they get the job, you negotiate the salary, and you then lose the placements because they decided that they don't want to work with an umbrella company that you deem compliant. And that is fundamentally one of the main problems that I had between 2017 and 2020. And back in 2020, I think that a lot of people, COVID hit, and I think we all had a little bit of a solo time in our sofa to think about what we wanted to do, and been doing very well in recruitment. I was 32 years old at the time, and decided that was the time to just start something new and try to create something that would make a difference for an industry. So I called my business partner of today, my long-term friend, Jill, I grew up with, which is a bit of a genius and a very talented IT engineer. And I told him, well, we always talked about doing a business together, and there is this big problem in the UK with umbrella companies, and I think that we can find a way to solve it. And that was the rest is history. We incorporated the company in 2020. And we've been at it since.
Certainly seems to be going from strength to strength as well, Seb.
Yes, it's very, very busy at the moment. I'm not going to be French and complaining about it, but it is intense. I think that I was speaking to Sam, our sales director, earlier, and we had over the past 5 working days, we had over 500 sign-up of new recruitment agency on the platform.
Wow!
So it's absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's good to see, but yeah, it's very, very intense. So we try to speak to everyone that reach out and try to give the best advice that we can for April this year, obviously.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us the time today, because obviously you are mad busy. So really appreciate that, Seb.
No, definitely. And I know there won't be many, but for those who might not know SafeRec or not know enough about SafeRec, can you give us a bit of an overview of what it is that you do and what you're working on for April? Give us a bit of a dummy guide, shall we say?
Yeah, sure. In a nutshell, when I worked in recruitment, the problem of umbrella compliance, there were two of them. The first one is 100% of the liability for recruitment agency when they work with umbrella company. It's going to be in April, but have been since 2014, a tax liability. And the first thing that we identified is no one was looking at taxes. And if you take the standard accreditation bodies, they were looking at 80% of the umbrella company. The 20% they didn't check is have taxes been paid to HMRC for every single one of the worker, and all legislation that bring liability to recruitment agency is about taxes. So the 20% that no one was doing was 100% that no one needed. The second problem is that everything was not very transparent. So when you were working with an umbrella company with an accreditation that had an accreditation, you had some trust that something had been done, but you didn't know really why. To answer your question, what SafeRec is the solution to these two problems. So we created a framework where on one side we have a law firm, WTT, that is doing the role of other accreditation bodies by reviewing contract processes, policies, company structure, but they do that as a law firm. And when they finish, they draft a due diligence report that is available at no cost to any UK businesses. They simply need to go on saferec.co.uk and download this due diligence review. And on the other side, we have the tax auditing, and there we have our technology where we audit for a SafeRec certified umbrella company every single payslip, umbrella payslip, and CIS statements that are sent to worker, and all the RTI sent to HMRC. And every single month, we meet with them to go on their government gateway, their HMRC tax account, to see how much taxes has been disclosed and if taxes have been paid. Once that is being done, we're transparent again. We send a report to all recruitment agency. So SafeRec is a certification body for umbrella companies that solve the two issues that, from our point of view, have never been solved before.
Excellent. And it definitely seems to, well, we know it's caught on because of the uptake, not only with the recruitment agencies that you've said, but also the umbrella providers that you've said. So well done, Seb.
Thank you. It's been good to see as well that umbrella company of any size really over the past 3 years, because we really launched the certification in June 2023. So it's even not 3 years that we launched it, and seeing that there is so many umbrella companies that looked at it and say, actually, this is what I want my recruitment agency. This is what I want my client to see. I want them to have this level of reassurance. And obviously that increase with joint and several liability, but to be able to see that is obviously good. You know, when you create a value proposition and people agree with it, it's obviously a good feeling.
Yeah, excellent. Sounds good, definitely. So one scenario I've come across a couple of times. Jesus, I wish I had come up with it. You've got three separate agencies and one umbrella company. Agency C is on credit terms with the Brolly, Agency A and Agency B assume that everything is being paid and everything is compliant with HMRC. However, Agency C runs out of cash and collapses, which we've seen before. And the umbrella follows suit because obviously that's not got the money coming in. And suddenly everything resets and A and B discover that their liabilities were never actually settled. And from what I'm seeing, they've walked straight into joint and several liability without even realising it. All because they had no real-time visibility of what's happening. So how can SafeRec help out in this instance, Seb?
So there is different aspect of it. The first aspect is there is a little bit of a myth where people believe that umbrella company just go under straight away. They just here and they disappear and they have a debt and everything disappear. Every single time, and we had a couple over the past 6 months that had difficulties. We had one in September and one in November. And what you start noticing is always you start having payment plan by the umbrella company, specifically on their VAT. What we do when we meet with the umbrella company, we check their HMRC tax account and their VAT. And that is obviously the first element that's going to make the umbrella company in a complex situation. The most recent one that used to be SafeRec certified, for an example, went into administration in February, but they lost their accreditation back in end of October, beginning of November.
Right.
When that happened, because you could start seeing this payment plan appearing, when that happened, we effectively remove the certification, ensure that at the point of removal, every single taxes are paid and there is no liability. And because the real-time auditing, we have the details of every single recruitment agency, we email all the recruitment agency. This is what we do in SafeRec to prevent any problem that's going to happen. But there is also solutions that umbrella company can have in place. There are some umbrella company, for an example, that can create a second PAYE reference number when they pay taxes weekly and provide evidence to their clients that taxes are paid and they don't wait that the money is due to HMRC. So there is a lot of situation, and this is where we here to help MSP and recruitment agency when they have extra concern and they say, okay, we really want to understand how to protect our business. We are able to guide them and to tell them, well, depending on what you want from your relationship with your umbrella company, this is probably the best way, or that is probably the best way.
To be honest, and I think that's the figure as well. As I think you've sort of hit it. You spoke about that really. Sorry, I can't get my words. You spoke about that actually really clearly, because I think one of the things that people think, and they like the scaremonger. There's products out there that are trying to scaremonger people. I'm not going to name and shame, but I think you're right. I think there's this belief that when something like this happens, the umbrella just disappears. Business doesn't work like that. Administration doesn't work like that. Liquidation doesn't work like that. I think when you've got enough preempts, and I think that's where your product comes in. I think that's also where a little bit of what we're working behind the scene with Kintick Assured also comes in, where you do have that many stages to catch it. And if you're negligent or you're reckless to not catch that, and you're not doing the right thing, then that's on the agency. But if they're doing the right things, and obviously they're working with people like yourselves and they're working with umbrellas who are doing the right thing, then they should really be reducing that risk.
And I think that is also very important to understand, because you're absolutely right. At the moment, there is so many people that just want to scare. And obviously they want to scare because either they have a product that they want to sell, or they could be advisors that just want to scare people to just like sell consultancy services. And the thing at the moment that goes around is that if taxes are paid to HMRC, there is no liability. It just doesn't work like that. There is so many elements that can create liability, and you can start from who is operating the payroll, how they process expenses, for an example. Well, if expenses are paid tax-free every single time, well, there is a tax liability that you can have under JSL. There is a payroll software. You see, there is payroll software we have an integration with, but we have a lot of payroll software that just don't do the right things. And it's some things that people need to understand. Payroll software are not regulated either. And when they're recognized by HMRC, it's just on their RTI reporting functionality, not on their calculation or anything like that. So anyone tomorrow can create their own payroll software, go on the self-assessment test of HMRC and be recognized as a payroll software by HMRC and being used. So there is a payroll software. There is obviously how taxes are if taxes are actually calculated, and also the RTI, because the payroll software need to produce right payslip calculation and tax calculation, but also how they report the information to HMRC. Obviously, and this is what is talked about, and yes, that's also a liability, is have taxes been paid to HMRC. And finally, you need to ensure that even if taxes have been paid to HMRC, they have not been paid against a tax credit on the HMRC tax account of the umbrella company. So you literally have 5 different things that people need to understand and they need to assess when they work with an umbrella company. And at the moment, you got people that obviously solve 20% of this equation and want to tell you that this 20% solve the 100%. Very similar to what I've just said to you earlier. So I think it's fantastic that people are talking. I think it's great that recruitment agency are so much more educated about the tax system that they were a year or a year and a half ago. But it's very important as well for people to appreciate that there are a lot of umbrella companies that are doing a great job. Big umbrella company, small umbrella company, and there is a lot of solution for recruitment agency to make themselves perfectly comfortable with the umbrella company they are working with.
Yeah,
exactly. And there's umbrellas out there with agency with over 10, 15 years of relationship, 10, 15 years of partnership. Just because of a new legislation doesn't mean they're going to suddenly go rogue either.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. It's true as well, and I agree with you, obviously. And it's true that businesses can go into administration. Any businesses can go administration. Absolutely, and that's going to happen. And there is no any guarantee from anyone that's going to tell you, well, this organization will never go under administration. It's not going to happen. The only thing that's important is for recruitment agency and supply chain to have a stronger oversight, and they can use tech like us. I'm sure they're going to be other in the future as well, to make sure that they have a better oversight on the umbrella companies they are working with, and that there is no other solution, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, perfect. Fully agree. So obviously we've talked about April, but where do you see the umbrella market evolving over the next sort of 12 to 18 months? Is there plans to sort of, do you think we're going to see a resurgence of small umbrellas again? Is there a plan for you to support some of any new guys coming in? Is there a plan for like a SafeRec lighter product?
So I can answer the question. It's complete with SafeRec. Really, we with the SafeRec certification, we created, I believe, a product that do it all, from the legal review, payslip audit, RTI audit, HMRC tax account, and the contract as well. Let's not forget that says that if the umbrella company is not compliant, or if any of its associated umbrella company is not compliant, the contract gives us the right to contact all the recruitment agency and to let them know they lost the certification and why. So when you create something that is as thorough as that, well, it's complicated to create a light version of that. You know, what do you remove? You remove the contract, the payslip audit, the legal review. You see what I mean? Is a little bit complicated. I think that for startup umbrella company, obviously it's going to be harder. If people want to start a company today, it's obviously going to be more challenging. I think it's complicated to see what's going to happen, because I believe that this legislation is the legislation, and we can see it already, that has the power of reshuffling quite a lot of volume from some umbrella company to others. I do believe that on the big account and on the big client, you are going to have a consolidation of some umbrella company. And that is mainly due to the fact that when you have a big client, you're likely to have an MSP, and MSP has a relevant party in joint and several liability. That means that if an MSP works with an agency that work with an umbrella company, the MSP is responsible if taxes are not paid to HMRC. And the natural decision, I would say, from MSP have been to say, well, we're going to create our PSL. So some are small, some are larger, but we are in a situation where the MSPs, they try to manage their risk, and obviously they're going to enforce a PSL. So on all these big accounts is going to be complicated. However, I think that 50% of the employment in the UK is not with large organization and with just like with SMEs that use SMEs recruitment agency. And I think that they are going to use SMEs umbrella companies as well, like smaller umbrella companies that are going to be able to help smaller businesses. And that's the most that I can say. I'm not too sure exactly what's going to happen. Are the bigger umbrella company are going to manage to handle all the volume that come their way? Potentially, maybe not. We'll see. Does that mean that's going to reduce services for the smaller provider? Maybe not. Like, there is so many variable. It's very complicated. Just 1 month before joint and several liability, how fast it's going to be. Even if I have a feeling that March is going to be very busy for everyone.
It already is. It already is.
30 days are going to be like I think that everyone needs to brace for impact. a little bit. But yeah, how long is going to take? How much is going to be enforced by the MSP? Because maybe MSP have a PSL, and in 1 month's time, they might just say, well, actually, we're comfortable to have an ASL as well, as long as they have some certification like SafeRec or other or whatever. So it really, really depends what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
No.
So obviously, just following on from that a little bit then, Seb. So if we've got a recruitment agency or an umbrella company watching in on this, and they're not prepared for JSL, which obviously, as you say, is literally from tomorrow. It's a month away, isn't it? You know, what would you be saying to those people now? What should they be doing right now?
Well, they should work with SafeRec, obviously. But more seriously, I think that there is some things that have been said and that keep being said, which is accreditation or certification are useless. And I actually agree with that. What matters is not if the organization is accredited or certified, is what value they get from the certification. What evidence do they get? And this is great for us because this is how we built the SafeRec certification.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to tell you a story, and that's a true story. Before to launch the certification in June 2023, in September 2022, with WTT, we launched the certification, but not branded under certification. That was just the value of the SafeRec certification, but just focused on the value, get the evidence. And the uptake was actually very, very small because people want to have a certification. They do want to have a badge and a standards that basically they abide to. So it's not really the certification that made us. It's first the values that we brought to the recruitment agencies that then become the certification, because there was a request from the umbrella industry that we become a certification bodies. But fundamentally, everything that they need to do, they need to focus on evidence and value. The umbrella companies that they are working with, they need to have proof that, again, the payroll is operated properly. They use the right payroll software. Calculation on payslip and tax calculation are accurate. RTI sent to HMRC are audited and are accurate as well. The amount on the HMRC tax account are accurate. Taxes are paid and it's not against credits. That's basically what they need to achieve.
So one point that come up that you've mentioned there a couple of times is the actual payroll software provider. That there's no sort of accreditation of them, and there never has been. You know, Professional Passport has always been a business partner. I think FCSA has always been a business partner. So have you guys got anything then in the pipeline to accredit a payroll software rather than just a business partner?
Well, we can't really do that because if we certify something, we need to certify it's been done right. And obviously, as you know, the payroll software, your guys are dependent on who is using your software.
Yeah, because
yeah. And if you guys decide to just like pay taxes free, but you don't have the receipt, you don't know if it's free or not, or like how it's been treated, for an example, or do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So
No. Yeah.
So the only thing that we can do really is to certify the entire operation from top to bottom. And this is for that every single thing that I've just told you, from how the payroll is operated to the payroll software to the payslip, the RTI, the HMRC tax account, and the payment made, all of that is certified. So the payroll software is part of it, but we can't just say, okay, use this payroll software, you can't get it wrong because you can. It's like if I was telling you, get in this car and you'll never have an accident. But no, it depends on the driver. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I always use the white van analogy for that when people ask, because you could go buy the van, you could use it for your construction, joinery, whatever. You could go buy that van and go rob a bank. The person who sold you the van can't tell you what you're going to use it for and assure you that this van will only be used for this X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
So we now get to the fun part of things now, Seb. We've done JSL and SafeRec, etc. So I'm going back to rugby, and as much as it pains me, and as much as I love
Me, you and rugby.
I am really happy you're going to go back to rugby. I'm happy to talk about that for the next 2 hours at the moment. Maybe not next year, but at this point in time, I'm really happy to talk about it.
Well, that was my point. Obviously, your boys are going to run off with the slam. I think you've got Scotland tomorrow night. I think you're fourth in the world rankings at the moment, if I'm correct. I think it's South Africa, New Zealand, Ireland, France, which I think I can see you moving in front of France at the end of the Six Nations. Certainly Six Nations.
You mean Ireland?
Sorry?
You mean Ireland?
Yes, moving. Did I say yeah? There you go. moving in front of Ireland after the Six Nations. Thanks, buddy. So Six Nations wise, France are pretty much unstoppable. We've got the World Cup in Australia next year. Is anybody going to stop France? I know we're 14, 15, 16 months away. Is anybody going to stop France now, Seb?
Well, I don't know. This is the thing. This is my feeling as a French supporter when I watch like the rugby team playing, which is my sport. I know I came in this country believing that the main sport was rugby in the UK. Obviously, there was a few people that thinking that I'm an idiot after I've just said that, but this is what I believed back in 2012 when I came here. So rugby is really a sport that I follow. My feeling with the French team is like, I feel like I never know. Sometimes it can be the best team in the world and the worst team in the world. So that creates great suspense. So at the moment, based on how they're playing, I have a tendency to agree with you. But based on my experience as a supporter, I know that anytime, it can go down really bad. So I'm just like watching every single game, praying that the quality that I'm saying is just like keep happening, if you see what I mean.
Seb, as well as if they lose against Scotland tomorrow, I apologise. It's got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can't publish that. You can't publish if they lose, I'm really sorry, but we're cancelling the podcast. I'm just saying.
Excellent. Cheers, Seb.
So on that then, do you have anything towards the football team? Or is it mainly the rugby for you?
No, it's mainly rugby. I try to follow a bit the football when I was in recruitment with like fantasy football, but I'm just like falling behind, and it's complicated to have conversation about football with a British person, because I feel like British people, all of them got a PhD into football. And they know at least like 3,000 players. So no matter how much I get interested in it, I always feel like a little bit of ignorance, if you see what I mean, when I speak with British people about football.
Brilliant. It's probably the
no
best
hard
way
feelings. Sorry?
It's probably the best way that. Just concentrate on the rugby.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah, go on then. Go on, I'll give you that.
Which brings me swiftly to putting you in jail for life. And you're on your death row now, Seb. So, you're on death row. I'm not sure what crime
you need to go
committed.
to the next part of your question, because you've been saying that twice now. So I need to understand if there is something at the end of it.
Well, I want to know what your death row meal is. Your last meal.
That is simple for me. It's going to be magret de canard avec des frites, which is like a duck breast with fries and roquefort sauce.
Ooh.
That's when I go in French restaurant. This is what I'm going for.
What's a starter?
Oh,
We're giving you a full 3-course meal. We're a posh prison.
probably that's
Posh
what I'm about to
execution.
say. Might be a bit. What I'm about to say might be a bit controversial, but I'm probably going to go with foie gras and toast.
Oh, yeah, foie gras. Yeah, I love foie
Is
gras.
that the one? Is that the one where they expand the
Well, you don't need
bird's
to just go down
belly?
into the making process, right? This is where it's becoming controversial. So I'm just like,
We don't have to cook it for you.
No. I've had foie gras in the Dordogne, and it was stunning. Absolutely
No, yeah,
I
stunning.
have heard that it's really nice. I've never tried it though.
Yeah. And then a dessert.
So-
Dessert, Seb.
Dessert, I might just go Italian and go tiramisu.
Oh, we've had that a few times, you know. We've actually had that a few times so far. No one's went for my carrot juice and ice cream yet.
I'm not surprised. I really am not surprised, mate.
Yeah. No idea why. I mean, really, like.
No idea. It's a drink. I'm assuming you're not going to say carrot juice for your drink.
No, like I'm absolutely not.
So what would be the drink, Seb?
The drink. Well, you know what? For the beer, I'm going to go British, and I'm just going to go for lager.
Right. Okay. I'm a little bit taken aback at that, Seb. I'll be honest with you.
I think I will be happy with that.
Excellent. Well, Seb, thank you so much for joining us. It's been as fun as I thought it was going to be, but I think we've covered some pretty good stuff there. I've got to congratulate you on what you've done with SafeRec. I really have. You know, we've been speaking to you since the word go. You know, I still remember the first video conference we had with you with the surfboard behind you, and you've still never done the video for me there. Is it still there?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, really appreciate you joining us, and thank you very much for your time. And I'll certainly see you at the Recruitment Expo in a couple of weeks. But thank you very much.
No problem.
Thanks, Seb. Keep smashing it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.